Hi, and welcome to, or back to, my channel. I'm Kit, and here we talk about the harmful beliefs and ideas that come from religion, red pill, and so on. And today, well, I regret to inform you all that feminism is dead. OnlyFans killed it. Tim Pool said so. My video on Tim Pool was the 6th commentary video I did when I began my channel, and it's unlisted because the sound quality was awful. I haven't watched much of his content since, but that video was about how feminism is wrong and women need to be feminine, and this video is about how feminism is dead and women are making millions from OnlyFans. I'm not sure how the two are connected, but I'm sure Tim will be happy to tell us. And for anyone wondering who he is, Tim Pool is a political commentator who pretended to be liberal, not sure if he still does, but the cheers in his studio when Roe was overturned gave me a distinctly conservative impression. Anyway, let's get into it. And before we get into it, I don't know Tim, and these are my thoughts and opinions. That being said, thank you for joining me, and I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons.
You know, I have to wonder if this is the end of feminism, because for a long time, women sought to be empowered so they could support themselves and be independent.
This is a weird way to start. Yes, an important part of feminism is women being able to support themselves and be independent, but now he wonders if it's the end of feminism because women are making millions from OnlyFans? I don't understand. Not in the least because women making millions from OnlyFans is so incredibly rare, and it's not really a stable form of employment.
And that's a fair point, right? You had the turn of the century, you had suffrage. Suffrage started in the late 1800s, and then finally it was like 1920, the 19th Amendment is finally ratified, and many other countries had been passing the right to vote. In fact, before 1776, there were, I think 1750s actually, there were many colonies that allowed women to vote. And then when charters came into place, they actually took it away. Not all of them. And now we have this story of this woman here, OnlyFans model, they call her. It's like, oh, come on, dude, she's a prostitute. I guess they're so offended by the word prostitute, which they shouldn't be because it's just a descriptive word, that they just say, I'm a model. Dude, you produce on-demand adult activities for cash. Prostitution.
It's not that difficult to give people basic courtesy.
But here's the thing, right? So you've got these women, Bryce Adams, 29, one of OnlyFans' most liked creators, saying she made what does she make, like $6 million per year or something like this. See, back in the day, when women were like, I want to live on my own, I'm not married, I shouldn't have to be, and I should be able to get a job, work, and vote. And I'm like, I agree with those things, that's great. Then women finally win suffrage, we get more women in the workplace, now they're making money, and they're like, finally, I can be independent. But ladies, this is not the way.
And who exactly is Tim to tell women how they should make their money?
This is the opposite of feminism, but ladies figured it out. With digital technology and more lax social standards, many women have opted for what I guess I would describe as a much easier route, though I would find it to be amoral and, crass. You see, back in the day, women couldn't show their ankles. They had to wear dresses, and they dressed up and they walked around. Men wore suits. Obscenity was not permitted. And porn existed, but it's a turn of the century. You got some silent film porn. It really did exist. But for the most part, it wasn't an option. Yes, there were always prostitutes, but then you have pimps. It was not so easy. But now, thanks to OnlyFans, ladies, you don't need to be a CEO anymore.
The opposite of feminism is OnlyFans? Huh. Feminism doesn't tell women how to live. They get to choose that for themselves, and the point is that they're not boxed into options deemed appropriate because of their sex. Not being a CEO or not going the corporate route in general doesn't mean someone isn't a feminist or is a bad feminist.
It's so simple. So many women are now deciding to just do porn and prostitution, and they make a ton of money.
As someone who has had sex for money, that is part of the issue. All jobs should pay a livable wage so women don't have to do sex work to make both ends meet.
So here's what happens. As more and more feminists push sex positivity, that is to say, they're telling young girls, who cares if you do porn and bang a bunch of dudes? Be you. Then you're going to get more women who are like, why am I going to be in the workforce when I can get paid just to do adult activities on the internet?
I'm not buying that women are hearing about sex positivity and deciding to forego a 9-to-5 in favor of OnlyFans. Not in the least, because sex work is work. Bryce isn't just posting random naked pictures, She's hustling. Managing multiple accounts, Bryce's first one is described as her Safe for Work page, stating subscribers can expect content from her real life, including her gym routines and fitness and bikini videos, as well as more info on her entrepreneurial journey. The second account gets more risque with raw and unedited footage, including full sex tapes and live shows for an added cost. The third account promises subscribers spicier content, and she also has a VIP account that has a monthly fee of $30, promising fans her most raunchy videos and photos. You don't get millions from anything by doing the bare minimum.
You think I'm wrong? Ladies, feminists, you think I'm saying something offensive? How many stories have we already gotten? Former police officer switches to OnlyFans. Former doctor quits her job, makes more money on OnlyFans. Many women in prominent positions have decided work is hard and this is easy.
I don't think he's being offensive. I think he's being strange. And apparently it hasn't occurred to Tim that work doesn't pay enough, thus the need for a secondary form of employment, and instead of shaming companies, he would rather shame women. And if anyone is thinking about commenting something like, well, you could just get a second job as a cashier or something, yes, you could. But that will not pay well, you will have a manager, and you will be bound to not only your full-time schedule, but also your part-time schedule. I am not and have never been on OnlyFans, but I can see the appeal. You can make the content you want within reason. Of course, you have to go with what sells, but that decision is up to you, and you do it when you have time.
And so they're gonna go for it. Congratulations. Look, man, I ain't got no beef. I think it's bad for society and whatever, but fine.
No, he definitely has beef.
Promote sex positivity, and then watch as we get less and less CEOs and managers, because young women are like, dude, I do not want to wake up at 9 a.m. I want to do whatever I want, and guys will give money for something super easy and meaningless.
I really don't buy that Tim cares about how many female CEOs and managers there are.
Here's a story from the Daily Mail. They say, Bryce Adams, 29 from Florida, joined the adult content site. Oh, it's so brutal. OnlyFans tried to be legit. And in just 2 years, she has turned into a booming business, earning herself millions of dollars along the way, as well as a legion of avid followers. She raked in $6.4 million last year and gained a whopping $60,000 just for one live stream. Here's what I love about this. You know, I often think about these women who are like, they have that video walking through New York for 5 hours as a woman, and all the guys are like, how you doing? Like, what up? Like, guys following her. Some of it was benign. Some of it was kind of creepy.
I'm not really sure what this has to do with OnlyFans, but I'm sure Tim will explain and it will all be clear.
And it's funny because I've talked about this before. Men do suffer the same thing, but men are valued for their social status, not for their attractiveness, mostly. So, you know, a hot guy walking down the street might have a girl say something, but probably not. Men are the ones who typically do the pursuing. But here's the funny thing. If you are a beautiful young woman and you walk down the street, guys probably gonna holler at you. That's what they find socially desirable. If you are a man of no social standing, that's it.
So he began reading an article about Bryce Adams, then veered off into how if you're an attractive woman, men will holler at you. How did we get here?
But what if you're a guy who jumps out of a suit wearing Armani, jumps out of a McLaren or whatever, puffs your shirt a little bit, turns around, gives a wink, and you've got jewelry, then you're gonna get people trying to ask you questions. And it's a fact. It is absolutely a fact. I was hanging out. We went to go eat in, where were we? We were in Leesburg, Virginia. And I'm hanging out with the boys, you know, and, you know, like some of the people in the crew dress up and look the part, I guess. Successful, well-known individuals that we're hanging out with. And sure enough, we have dudes walking up being like, do I know you from somewhere? Like, you looks like you a rock star, man? It's like, guys will get that stuff, but it's based on social status.
Sounds to me like it's based on perceived social status, but alrighty.
So here's the funny thing about all this. I'm looking at her income and how many fans she has. Like, she sells her body, she does porn online, and she gets a big following, makes money. Then you have other people. Guys, what do guys do? Guys talk politics, charismatic, ideas, work, objects, women, subjects. And it's like, I see this thing. Now, hey, look, man, here's what I'm saying. I ain't got no beef with this lady. She wants to be a digital prostitute. For real, I don't mean that as a dig.
Tim very clearly does have an issue with how she makes money.
I'm saying, hey, you do you, lady. You sell what you got. She got $6.4 million. You think she cares about your opinion? My point is only this. many more women are going to say, I don't want to be the CEO. I don't want to work on a petroleum rig. I don't want to be a lawyer and argue, man. A lot of these things are things that guys like doing.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that no one really likes working on petroleum rigs.
Complaining on the internet, talking about big ideas, talking about policy. I think this OnlyFans is going to create basically piping to like a conduit, better way to describe it, by which feminists who don't like the 9-to-5 grind but just want to be independent and have money realize, hey man, I don't need to answer to a boss. I can just do, adult activities online. Boom, with OnlyFans.
I don't understand his focus on feminists. He thinks feminists are going to dip out from being CEOs to do OnlyFans? Is this because he thinks feminists are the only ones who ever think about becoming CEOs? Feminists are the only ones who would be comfortable sharing nude pictures? None of this makes any sense.
And you know what? The average woman who does it doesn't make that much money. True, most people who try to start their own business ain't going to make much money no matter what they do. But this lady, she figures it out. Maybe it's because people find her to be the most attractive or whatever, or she just does the raunchiest, nastiest stuff, and that's worth money. Whatever, man. Doesn't matter. There will be various tiers. Just because she makes $6.4 million doesn't mean everybody else is making nothing. Just because you hear about most women making mostly nothing, like $20 to $200, doesn't mean that the average woman can't make this work. My point, feminism is in trouble because there's going to be a lot of women who can easily pull in $40,000 to $50,000 per year doing this stuff, and they will.
Yeah, $40,000 or $50,000 a year isn't going to convince a CEO to give up her job.
And they're going to be thinking to themselves, I may not be making $1 million, but I barely have to do anything, post a couple videos, get some subscribers, and now I'm good.
I'm not an expert on OnlyFans like Tim seems to be, but I would be willing to bet that doing the bare minimum, even on OnlyFans, also wouldn't get you that $40,000 or $50,000 a year.
You know why I think this? Because I've known a handful of people, women, who were working normal jobs. And I knew this one woman, and one day, she's like, I think I'm going to try and do cam stuff. And I'm like, for real? And she's like, yeah, I think I make good money. And I'm like, okay, dude. I was really surprised to hear that somebody would actually entertain doing that because, or this person, these people that I know, because I'm like, I did not expect this person who worked, like a mid-level manager job to say that to me. And this was years ago. This was before OnlyFans. This was back when they had those like trashy cam websites.
So his reasoning for this theory is that he knew a handful of women years ago and one of them decided to do cam work?
But I think the reality is there are a lot of women who don't care. They absolutely will show off their bodies for money and even engage in lewd and lascivious activities behind a paywall for cash when given the opportunity.
Nudity isn't something to be ashamed of.
Would this woman be a porn star or prostitute before OnlyFans? I don't think so.
And we're basing that on what?
It's possible. There are a lot of porn stars and prostitutes. I'm saying that now you're going to start seeing many, many more women. I think one of the reasons why she makes as much money as she does is she talks about how no censorship, full face, everything is shown, all raw, you can watch it happen. Okay, there are guys who want to pay for that. Welcome to the baser reality of what men want and what women want.
I would be willing to bet that one of the reasons this woman is so successful on OnlyFans is because she shows things that other creators don't. If there's a sudden influx of people doing the same thing, she wouldn't make as much because there would be more options. So even if that influx did happen, it wouldn't net women even the $50,000 Tim allowed. Though, to be honest, OnlyFans has been around since 2016. If a mass exodus of women from the workplace to do OnlyFans hasn't happened in 7 years, I don't think it's going to.
I don't know, feminists. I think you're in trouble. I think feminists and leftists need to really come out and be like, nah, we don't like what OnlyFans is doing.
Why?
Because if this lady's making all this money, you are going to start seeing less and less women in the workplace, more and more men. There it is. She told Insider that she goes live almost every day now. Once a month, she holds a special live stream that she calls a marathon. It lasts for 7 to 8 hours and involves her teaming up with other big creators on the site who participate in a number of adult performances. In September, she made about $60,000 from the marathon, which came from a combination of new subscribers and tips sent in from her loyal followers. My followers had actually never seen me move, talk, and just engage, she explained. Since becoming a successful OnlyFans star, prostitute.
What was he saying earlier about having no problem with how this woman makes her money?
Bryce has created a massive team with 24 employees who help her run her business and shoot her content. Together, they created a program that allows her to live stream simultaneously from multiple accounts, and she's now hoping to market the new software. You know why I really want to talk about this? Let's replace porn star prostitute with podcaster. Let's talk about Timcast. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, we've got about 40 employees. We've launched several shows. I have people who help produce everything and shoot. Video production. I do all the story production. All story production is 99% of story production, I should say, is me. I choose the stories. I source things. And then we ask our guests sometimes if they want to talk about anything. But all the morning show stuff and most of Timcast IRL are stories that I'm sourcing. So, but the funny thing is I'm looking at it and like, we do events. We make a lot of money. We're a big company. We have like 40-something employees. And it's really funny how as a dude who's leading the charge, live streaming and producing content, it is politics, it is policy. And the ladies who are doing it are selling their bodies. Ain't that something else?
Oh, okay. Tim chose to cover the story because he's upset that a woman is making more money than him and he considers his work to be more important. Got it.
Now look, I think a lot of guys are going to mock and laugh at her for this. But this lady could buy you over 10 times. You want to come at her? She's got more cash than you do. This is the future. I think more and more women are going to start doing things like this because there are guys who want to pay for it. That's really it. Call it whatever you want, man. It is what it is.
It is indeed how it is. And you know what? Unlike Tim, I'm not going to shame anyone for how they make their money. I just hope everyone gets to do something they actually enjoy, at least on some level. But honestly, I think Tim is just upset that a woman is making more money than him doing something that he considers immoral. He's also been hanging out with Fresh and Fit recently, and I think that is influencing his perception of women leaving every other job in favor of doing OnlyFans. Because, you know, women only want easy money, they have no passions or interests or goals, and male attention and validation is like a drug for them. Is his content usually like this? It wandered a lot and ultimately, it's because he's jealous. Maybe that clouded his brain. Either way, I'm a feminist and I'm not concerned about there being fewer female CEOs because they'll be doing OnlyFans instead. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.